I would be streaming now. Unfortunately, as I started to do the sort of testing about whether or not things were going to work, I discovered a few issues. Just going to quickly go over those while I'm. There's an issue where I've optimized away all the ship updates. So when everybody isn't flying a ship, no packets were sent. So the clients are like, oh, the server's not talking to us, and disconnect. So I've added a heartbeat. The problem will be is how much can I add without having to rebuild the server, because that takes a long time to do. I have an issue. I've connected to this. Next issue is clients join, they're not sent any ships. So that means they can't see any ships. So that means they can't get in a ship. So,
Hello.
Hello, it's all very broken. But I'm hoping I can fix it just with server fixes. So far I haven't changed any client code. It's say it's stream. And I should be true to my word. That works. So those ships that I can see there are sent from the server to the client. I'm a client on my own server. Question: when I does that bit of code kick off? Also a rendering bug where on the server, yeah, it didn't trigger. On the server, sometimes for some reason the bloom goes completely crazy. Okay, so the server. Stuff up to the data. Colony data. Hit and one shot. I did. But I have fixed quite a lot of things, in quite a short period of time, because I've done a lot of code recently, but not that much in the way of network testing, because what I've been doing hasn't really been in the network area. But in theory, it now actually displays all the stats it tracks, and it shows you your level, and you can buy ships and get into ships and get out of them and sell them, and the server will slowly work through the inventory of ships available to you and stuff like that.
Should I keep clear one?
I
you prepare?
don't even bother joining it. It just won't work. I think there's another issue, but I don't think it's me. So sometimes when a client disconnects and comes back in, I can't come back in, but it's telling me there's no routing between the two computers. I think it's bouncing off of Steam, and I don't think Steam is getting back to me. No big games come out, has it, that's like hammering. Yeah, here. Peer-to-peer connection fail, Steam ID remote, blah blah blah, with error, timeout, retrying. It's probably something to do with the same code. So the real big change now is that you don't have to be in a ship all the time. You can now get out of your ship. If you get into a colony ship, you get kicked out and you quit, those sort of things. Some code expected you to be in a ship. That's the issue.
Being out of ship doesn't mean that you are floating in space.
No, it means you're inside. You're in the ATC.
I did run the game and I was amused
Ah.
by the not a numbers being localized.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What does it say for you?
Epäluku.
Oh, because me it should just say NAN, capital A, lowercase, capital N, lowercase a, capital N. Yeah, so I was exactly right. So the issue is that I receive an update from a client, and previously your client would be, hello, I'm in the garbage ship or whatever. And now what happens is, no, Dora, is you just go, I'm here, and I go, cool, what ship are you? And you're like, nah, I'm not in a ship. But what happened is when I spawned you a fancy ship to fly around in, that was the point that I sent you all the data, which makes no sense. I shouldn't have tied those two things together. Right.
Player data or level data?
So what happens is when you join, I mark your unique Steam ID up as send all the data to this person. And what happens is I mark all of the ships as dirty, and I mark all of the shops as dirty, and I transmit them to you as quickly as I can. The problem is, because you're not in a ship, I never transmit it to you. But I did this as a late join because this is quite late in the process. But I'm going to have to send it earlier and hope that... Yeah, okay, this is actually... Also, I now keep all the players loaded in memory all the time. So I can browse, even though you're not logged on, I can browse your stats, I can see what ship you were last in, I can do all of that. And that means I no longer remove you from the database. And that actually has an issue because I was going to do it here where I add you to the database, but of course I need to do it every time you say, hello, I've joined. And I'm quite easy though. There's 2 lines of code. That just needs to go. I don't have access to the cache. Very few times I don't know who you are. I've also fixed that there's all these rules around when I'm allowed to know your username based on your friend status, your lobby status. But now what happens is you tell me your name and I store it away. So even though you might not be online, I can still look up who you are. I think that should do it. It depends when client join. Client join fires. Yeah. When you send me join request, but that send full update shouldn't happen until the next tick. Let's cross fingers. And I'll try not to die here in the corner. But overall, I've done a lot of work. And, it's been like a month since the last time we actually tested this because I had developed and then COVID. It has been a while. So this isn't unexpected. This isn't like, oh no, what's happened? So far, again, touch wood, all of these changes have been server side. So in theory, it can all still be... But if I have to make a new build, then I will just end the stream and start a build because that can take 10 hours or 15 minutes, depending on whatever the Unity. So the client still doesn't know about any ships. I have sent 31 shop updates and RPG ship update. Looking for.
I did end up playing a VR game that might be a bit similar with the ATC.
Oh.
There's Battle Group VR, which is like tries to be an RTS. And it has like a battle map.
Oh yeah. Cool.
It was also funny because in the Star Trek bridge crew, there was quite little to do. But in Battle Group, you managed like the shield balance for multiple ships solo. Instead of 4 people managing one ship, you have one person fiddling the settings for 4 ships.
These are some of the same asset packs as I'm using for AstroTrucks. I recognise that spaceship. Yeah, that's 20 quid though. I'm afraid that you see, it's finally happened. Steam has finally beaten me down.
You will never forget your first engagement.
So I will. I never buy things ever. I just click add to wish list, and then when it messages me saying, "Hey, it's for sale," then I buy it. That should then queue up the message. Joined DJ Arcus. Fairly sure that actually true. I wish I could have more. I wish it had about 8 different filters, or even custom filters. I can do things in color though. That's something I've only learned quite recently, and it does help because I can color code. I'd like to, for example, color code all server messages in green or something. It does make my life a whole bunch easier. Have you been there? Have you been well?
Relatively, yes. I got suckered to the VR sale quite badly.
Oh yes.
Browsing days.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything. Game Pass gives me so many games. I barely bother playing anything else. So I while I was ill, I played Ashnear through. We need to play on stream. The trains are pointless and massively overpowered and completely useless, but they're so cool. So they really are cool. And I've got all the achievements in Doom apart from one now, and a whole ton of achievements in 2. And I played loads and loads and loads of Game Pass games just because. There. And nice, I can see. Game Pass gives me so many games. I don't think I could ever get through them. So Power Wash Simulator is now on Game Pass. Oh, I could play it through again though. I played it through a little bit. I forgot how awful it is on the first pressure washers because they get a lot better. I really wanted to grind my way through. But
The subscription model makes it easier to try out games that you would not buy individually.
yes, there's a game called The Discworld, or but I would never pay money for it. I play it all the way through. I unlocked Hardmode. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but there's no way I'd ever would have given anyone cash for it. I found a number of games like that. So I really like Game Pass for that. This here says sending all data to clients, blah, 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 blah. And then we get because I don't have logging in builds turned on. I have logging in builds turned on, so that should have added to the log and then logged it back out. Sending all ships. What should be happening is the client should should send them 8 ships. Send all can probably just mark them all as dirty. Every tick, I should come back in with that being set to false, and then run over, count up all the dirt. Possible I'm setting them all dirty and then never, because I also have an issue that if we play this game for 1,000 hours or something, you might end up with 10,000 ships in this list. I do need to be concerned about that.
are the servers supposed to run 24/7?
Yep.
Is it like keeping up 3 hours a day, or?
I'm assuming that someone will run a 24/7 server. There might be an option where the server goes to sleep when nobody's on it, but given the way so right now, any work that needs to be done is takes 30 seconds. So a thing always takes 30 seconds. And consumes usually one worker. But you could change that. So it could be that you drop a worker off and it takes an hour. So you could actually have different rates of progressions depending on how long you want it to play. Or, if you've got like 50 people in the server, you might want to do it different. I can only send 8 per well, I can send more, but I run out of room in the packet.
I was playing this economy game, Prospero's Universe, which is kind of the economic parts of EVE without the space combat. And that game
so just
has
X7.
Somewhat. But that had days of play 10 minutes a day and then next day play like 10 minutes. That's quite extreme in that pattern. But that's because everybody shares the universe and it's all synced up. I would imagine that players would sit down for half an hour or hour to play AstroTrucks.
Yes, but if there's 10 of you, you might log on to the server for an hour and I might log on at a different time. So the thought there is that you're like, oh, I wanted to level up my taxi skills, so I just ferried a load of workers across. So then I log on and I find that the macerator has tons and tons of workers, but no resources. So I'm like, oh, I'll move the resources across. So it means that people can dip in and out and progress different parts of things going on, depending on what they like to do.
Can you like stack up workers in a thing that it can stay fed for 3 hours, or?
Depending on how quickly you get through the workers and depending what I set as the maximum size of the dock, yes, I could do that. Don't necessarily say we're going to, but that can be done. Mark 13 ships is dirty. Server has 13 dirty ships. Server has 8 dirty. Now I'm beginning to worry that it's a client issue. If I sound a bit distant because I have to look over to the left, I've got different screens showing different things and the server's running over there. So the client, see, once we get to the realms of client changes, that's probably going to be the end of the stream because I can do the client changes, but I need to recompile the server, get rid of those issues. Client has received 2 RPG ship updates. Server has sent 5, probably 3 to me too. Yeah, so that should have arrived on the server. Sorry. What I could really do with is probably installing Unity on that computer as well and then running them both in the editor. Set up currently. file is 4 megabytes. Well, that's the code I wrote today. Yeah. This is the annoying thing is I am blitzing bugs here. I am absolutely just cranking through so many bugs. Unfortunately, I'm then going to just run into the brick wall of I have to wait for Unity to take it. And the errors appear to be oh, there we go. In the update function, I think it's very annoying. Some lists use the count variable, and some use the length variable. They did the same thing, but depending on, I think it's whether or not it actually runs off and counts them. Waiting for 5 ... Best I can do now is to track this. Creates a new empty ship, then it adds the RPG ship from the. And then we load the data off the disk. You can see, of course, it all works on my screen. So I don't know whether or not I'm not sending the data, the client isn't receiving the data, the client is receiving the data and not doing anything with it, or whether the client is receiving the data and is doing something with it, but that's not where this screen looks. That's my suspicion is the last one. So you can see here on the server, you can see all of the truckers, you can see that we've got one online, I can see levels of, well, I've already got Andy. I need 5 more XP as a placement to hit level 2. That's the information I want to know. So right now, the server has sent 2 RPG ship updates. Now, when the client joins, I should send all of the rest across. And I know I said this last time, but I did then go to a developer conference and get ill. I do need to start doing a lot more of these because it is a multiplayer game, and it does need. Yeah, I have sent. Yeah, there you go. I've sent a whole bunch of ships. Don't know why they haven't arrived. I mean, in theory, I'm still testing, but it's broken. I mean, all I can do at this second is I will check the readout code for the. But it's all, the code is mostly working. I just need to get the data in the right place so it can display it. Yeah, as Tad pointed out though, or when we did the Powerwall stream, it was only about an hour and a half of streaming, and that was it. I was just wiped out. I didn't get COVID badly. I'm going to stress that, but I still have ended up just so worn out from it. Ever started with 13. Total number of ships. Used ship inventories. Data from. Checking I haven't accidentally marked something off as server only or client only. I'm also just trying to work out how broken the server was before I edited the code. Like, could I? I'll tell you what. Might be able to do that. Because if I get into a ship on the broken server, on the old code, it should then send that update. So the issue was I wasn't getting all of the ships. I might get one. None of this code all looks fine. See, I can't debug it. That's the problem. This should just be in the ship data. Client thread, generate new ship, add it, add RPG ship, adds it to the. I mean, what might have helped is if I'd actually listed somewhere about how many ships we we know about. Don't think I do. Should have. I've listed how many players there are, how many shops there are, but not Where did I shove that? I hope you all enjoyed the little state of the game video.
It was quite dense recap on what has happened.
Yes, well, that's just kind of where it is, and it's also, you know, that's nicely edited and put together, and there's no faffing. So, but that took like 2 days, that video, including a whole bunch of code.
But now it scales to the next one. You don't have to do the camera code again.
Yeah, but it has the issue that actually I can show you. Hold on. So if I maximize that, turn off the so debug display does now show how many ships, right? Yeah, so if I just in the here, I just turn on that camera. The problem is, you're right, but the camera doesn't do anything other than the locations I've given it. So to film anything new, I still need to set up the camera. Though it does look quite cool. Like that does look pretty. And then from there, I can put all things in and out. And then I put some fake ships around. Most of it wasn't the code. Most of it was set the code up, and then I have to set up points for things that are interesting for the. No, that one doesn't work. Things that are interesting for it. Oh, it's that one for it to track. X is flashing. So I can record more stuff, but it's recording stuff that's different to what I had last time. That's the hard part. The other hard part was picking footage where the decals don't screw up, because oh my god, the decals screw up. So there's going to be some yellow stripes there in a moment. Yeah, there you go. See, yellow stripes, no yellow stripes. Unity have promised they're going to fix this. I've been waiting quite some months now. Oh, there's a different set of yellow stripes. Then I have a special button that makes doors open, but only for only for the debug cameras. I'm going to try what I said. I don't think I'm going to get very far, but I believe if I join the server, ignore all the error messages, and then the server gets into a ship, I should get a single update. Said in theory. So the server can see a bunch of things. So let me. Fix this on this computer, but it's broken on that computer. Might just be I wasn't in a ship. Now in a taxi. And I will join Otherwise, if this doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'll just make a build and go to bed. Server's crashed, unfortunately. That's the next step, is to update the server code. Update the server code and then join as a client and then see why I don't know what the ships are. I've already fixed that one. Right, well then we shall call it there. So I would highly recommend you just watch the state of play video. I will start making a build. I would hazard a guess, given forthcoming stuff, I will try this again on Tuesday. So I need to do at least one of these a week, possibly two. Try and test the code a little bit earlier. But as I said, I wrote an awful lot of code since the last time this was tested. So that's okay, it broke. I'm not unhappy with that. And I will, I will put it in the stream events channel. So there's a stream events channel where you can see the forthcoming streams. And you can say, hey, I'm coming. Or not. I don't mind. So I will put it there. But yeah, I will make a build. And I will quietly by myself see if that fixes it. So thank you for coming along. You're awesome. Don't forget to wish this the game.